All right, so we're gonna get started now. Apologize to everybody for the technical difficulties we experienced last Thursday, but we're back now, and we can continue with what we started. So again, I'm just gonna be introducing myself and then describing what it's like being a student at Saba University. So my name is Rohan Bhan. I'm a third semester student at Saba. I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, and I did my undergrad at UBC, which is in British Columbia. I majored in biology, and I heard about Saba through a family friend of mine. She actually had just got her residency in New York, and she knew I was inquiring about about becoming a doctor. So we chatted, and she had nothing but good things to say about Saba. So I decided to apply. So I started last May, I believe, and now being in my third semester, I've kind of got a feeling of how what it's like to live on Saba, and I'm going to give you a little glimpse into my life and explain, the different courses that you may take here, and just give you a sense of what it's like to live on Saba. So to get it started, I'm going to be talking about why I chose Saba. What was it about Saba that really drew me here? And the number one factor I'd say is the small class sizes. So at Saba, you're going to be in a class size about 40 to 50 people. And that's just, to me, the most important aspect here, because you can literally be sitting in the front row, talking to a professor, asking questions, having them answered on the fly during the lecture, having great discussions led by the professors and other students, to really delve deep into the material. And I feel like that's something that Saba can offer that the other schools, even schools in the States and Canada, cannot replicate. So that's definitely the biggest draw is the small class sizes. But on the other hand, another thing that I had heard was good about Saba was the professors. We have some of the most knowledgeable and experienced professors here at Saba. The past 3 semesters have been nothing but great interactions with them. They're so helpful. They really care. That's probably the biggest thing I'd like to say. They will take their time out of their day to host review sessions on Saturday. For instance, one of our anatomy professors, Dr. Khan, literally spends 6 hours of his Saturday going through dissections, teaching anatomy, showing all the intricacies of the human body to all of our students. And I can tell you that really makes a difference. I can attribute so many things that I learned in term 1 to that man. Every time I see him, I'm going to say, Dr. Khan, thank you so much, because he really is an inspiration. And like I said, you're not going to get that type of connection with a professor, that intimate connection that you will get here at Saba. So another thing, building on that last point, is the sense of community at Saba. Yes, Thomas, 6 hours. I know that's dedication. That's what I'm saying here. So we're all on the same page here at Saba. The class sizes are small. We really get to know the professors. Heck, even the librarians. We're all working together as a cohesive unit, and we're all working with that same goal. Learning medicine as in depth as we can, preparing ourselves for the shelves and the boards, and eventually, doing good on STEP and becoming great clinical practitioners. So you really do feel that we're all on the same page here. building more on that sense of community. Saba does offer a lot of different programs and mentorship programs, such as every upper semester, well, not every, but you have to volunteer. But the term ones, when you're coming into the semester, you have literally a mentor from an upper semester assigned to you who will keep in contact with you. He will give you all the tips. Hey, this is what this professor likes. This is what that professor likes. Focus on these areas for this subject. These are the high yield areas. Give you all the specifics about the island. Hey, you can get this from there, that from there. I can't tell you how much it helped when I was in semester, in a new foreign environment, living on an island, and having this friend of mine now. I can say shout out to Venkat, that was there, at a text away. Hey man, could I have some help with this? Yes. Boom. Answers completely answered within seconds, and that's awesome. So other than that, you also have teaching assistants for every course, and again, it's super helpful. Just having people that have taken the course prior, and they impart their knowledge and say, hey, same thing. This is the high yield concept for this course. This is how you got to go about this material. It's paid huge dividends for me, focusing on the different courses here. So, like I said, there's just a sense of community. We're all in this together, and you can only accomplish that when you have these smaller class sizes. Like you're not gonna, you go to other of those Caribbean medical schools, they're in 600, 1,000 per class, right? Per semester. You're not gonna be able to replicate the intimate connection we form here. So next, I'm going to be talking about the day in the life of a Saban. So for me, typically we start our day. I wake up at 6. Sorry, not 6. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I wake up at 7 a.m., make my breakfast, go to class. Class is usually from 8 to 12. Then we have a lunch break. Typically, I like to work out. We actually just got a new gym. It's got all the necessities that you need, and I find that's important for you got to maintain a healthy lifestyle, both body and mind. So work out 12 to 1, quickly eat some lunch as well. Usually my friends and I like to hang by the cafeteria. There is a cafeteria on campus. They got some good meals there. I think I had a chicken burger today. It was awesome, chicken burger and fries. So after that, you typically, term 1, you're going to have class from 1 to 3, and then you'll be off depending on what's going on that week. Obviously, day to day, the schedule does change. Some days you'll be until 5. Some days, I think on Fridays, you're in there till 12 o'clock. But again, schedule is subject to change depending on the day. So on Thursdays, specifically, I like to go play basketball. There's a local community center that a bunch of us, we have a basketball group chat. We all take a ride over there and engage in some friendly, competitive basketball 5-on-5. I'm a huge sports guy, so that's huge for me. Again, on Saturdays we have, sorry, I keep on saying Saturdays. On Fridays we have, sorry, no, Thomas, I wouldn't say it's packed. There's definitely room for everybody to get in all the machines they need to, especially during exam time. It's completely empty, so, well, not completely empty, I still go, but yeah, so, sorry, back to what I was saying. Soccer is on Fridays, and it's co-ed. It's right by the school. There is a soccer field literally a 2-minute walk away. And we just play some fun co-ed, blow off some steam at the end of the week. Nothing better than that. We just studied for, a hard 5 days, learned a lot of material. It is med school. And, blow off some steam, have some fun together before the weekend. So another thing that I like to do personally is I like to scuba dive. Saba has some of the best world-renowned diving sites, and that's a fact. I knew as soon as I got here, I was like, okay, let me get these classes under wraps and then get scuba certified. So I did that in my first term, and ever since, if some of the friends after an exam we want to do something different, go for a little scuba dive. The dive companies here are awesome. They teach you so well, make you feel at home, and it's just like, again, it's another extension of the Saba family, right? Like, everybody on the island is so close knit and friendly. It's just really an experience that you wouldn't expect. I assume a lot of you guys are going to be a little worried, like a little worried. Oh, I'm leaving my city. I've never left Canada or the U.S. What's it going to be like? And the answer is awesome. You've got all the support you can. Don't let that get in the way of trying something new, right? That's what life's about. Do you use your phone or some kind of message? Yeah, we all use WhatsApp. There is Wi-Fi on the island, so you won't need a phone plan. And I just use WhatsApp calling too. It's pretty convenient. So what else? Grocery stores. They're all walking distance to me. We got one right beside the school. We got one near the soccer field. I live near that soccer field, so that's a 2-minute walk. Get all the groceries, everything I need. There's restaurants in the same vicinity of the school, and you can get the same stuff. Tomorrow I'm gonna go to Taco Tuesday. Get some cheap tacos for $1. Burgers, fries, wraps, salads, cappuccinos, whatever you want. It's all here. Chinese food, whatever you like. So if you are coming and you're living in the dorms for first year, that'll probably be in a quad. They're about 2 minutes again. Everything's close. It's great. You just gotta walk. 4-person dorm. It's beside the schools, and it's got all the utilities. Twin-sized bed. There's a fridge, living room, desks, lamps. It's got all the necessities and amenities you need. Just a better view. Sunny. It's a nice Caribbean island. So, what will you be taking in term 1? You will be taking anatomy, histology, physiology, and a little embryology. I think anatomy goes in the morning, and then histos afterwards, if I'm correct. Yes. So, what's it going to be like in term 1? Building off what I said earlier, the professors make all the difference. Some people say the anatomy professors in this school, and honestly all of them, all the term 1 professors, are some of the best that we have. And it's not just because they care a lot. It's not just because they're good at teaching. It's because they really make you feel like you're at home. They really introduce you. They really check on you, see how you're doing. And they really care. Sorry, one sec. I'm just gonna drink a little water. A little parched. Okay. So yeah, like I said earlier, that one anatomy professor who would hold review sessions every Saturday. Simply amazing. Another thing that was big for me was the hands-on experience. And again, this relates back to the small class sizes, right? So we have anatomy labs, I think 3 times a week, where you get to dissect cadavers. And this is, everything you do yourself. We get cadavers in from St. Martin, and as you learn about each anatomy system and go through the body, We, sorry, Thomas, I'll answer that question in a second. You dissect concurrently in the anatomy lab. So, you learn about something in the morning. Hey, this is the anatomy of the eye. Oh, okay, let's go through the orbit and see the ophthalmic artery, the optic nerve, the muscles, the extraocular muscles. So everything here, I feel every course you're taking builds off each other. And that really allows you to focus on what's high yield and really get multiple passes and hammer home all the high yield points that will be important for when you take step. So, you're going to be in lab groups of 6 to 8 people, and that really allows you to actually get in there and dissect. You take turns, but for me, I learn the best when I'm actually allowed to get in there and use my hands and figure out, how does this actually work? Like, what are the intricacies to the human body? And for me, one of the most awesome experiences from my time on this island was sawing open a human cranium. Just cutting through the skull was just surreal. Opening up a human's head, visualizing a brain 1 foot away from you is just, I'll never forget it. I remember that day too. I told my parents, I was like, wow, this is the day. I was like, all right, this is for real. All right, Thomas, did you find any of the faculty hard to understand based on their accents, if any? No, I sit in the front row, so for me, understanding everyone, there's no problem for me. If you're sitting in the far back, maybe if you can't really hear them, but if you sit at a good distance, no, there's no problem. And like I said, professors here, awesome. All right, so moving on from first to the other semesters. Basically, what I think a strong suit of Saba is, you're learning different material in different classes, but there is overlap between them, and that overlap is highlighted, and that overlap is compounded, which allows us to get the multiple passes that will get us those marks on step and these board exams that we're required to take. So that to me what is as evident as I'm going through these different semesters. Again, I am in third semester. Third semester, we take behavioral medicine, which is kind of like psychology and psychiatry related. We take neurology, and we take systems and diseases, which is a combination of pathology and and treatments. So pharmacology. So how does Saba prepare you for the USMLE? Like that's the big question. And before I get to that, I'll answer your question there, Marzina. How did the test? So basically, you have tests every 3 weeks. There's a testing center on campus. In semester 1, you will be taking your histology and physiology. They're together on 12 p.m. on Mondays, and then later that day you have a anatomy practice. You have an anatomy practical, which is identifying different anatomical parts of the human body. And then the following day, on the Tuesday, you have your anatomy written. And, the exams are about an hour and a half, nothing too big, 60 questions. Yeah. And obviously, the schedule will change as you progress in the different semesters. Currently in term 3, we're actually on a different wavelength. We have our tests every 3 weeks, but not they're every they're not in line with all the other semesters essentially. All right, so we're going to move ahead to how Sabre prepares you for the USMLE. So if you guys don't know what the USMLE step one is, it's pretty much, well, before the recent changes. It was what we as IMGs, how we were measured against the U.S. and Canadian medical students. So currently, I don't know if you've read about this, but they are moving towards, in 2020, having the step one being a pass or fail, which means that the step two clinical knowledge and the step two clinical science will be now used to grade and measure how IMGs are going to fare, and essentially how you will get your residency spot. So again, just to recap, before it was a step one, and now it's going to be step two, CS and CK. So CS, sorry. So step two, you write during your clinical years. So it's going to be integrating all this basic science knowledge that we learned here in these 2 years, and then applying that into the clinical setting. So basically, how does Saba prepare you guys for step two, both of them, is what you want to know. And the good thing is that I can wholeheartedly say that Saba has prepared all of its students since day one, with the utmost amount of preparation for those exams, because we start clinical medicine in semester one and it continues throughout all terms. As we learn each system, each other course, the clinical medicine is being taught concurrently, and again, compounded and integrated with the information from those other courses, allowing us to really get a sense of, hey, okay, this information is textbook information, but how does that apply to the clinical setting? And that type of information is invaluable for your clinical and your clinical years. So that early exposure, I know other schools do it differently, is really just invaluable. For example, just this week, we learned about all of the CNS tumors, and we were, you get to see, okay, this disease has these symptoms, but what are these? How are these symptoms going to present? And then later that day you have a lecture in clinical skills where they literally show you videos of how patients present. Dysdiazonokinesia, hands going like this, seeing that patient, and then having the ability to integrate that knowledge with what you learned earlier in that day. It's just amazing, For example, also we had a video test on psychiatric disturbances, where we put on headphones in the testing center, and we were given video scenarios of patients with different mood symptoms, affect syndrome symptoms, and it was just, sometimes you're like, wow, like they really have it. They really know what's going on here. I feel so prepared now. If I were to go into the clinic, at the end of term 5, to really be able to use all the knowledge I learned here and apply it right away. I feel like with the integration of the clinical skills and the basic science knowledge that we get here at Saba, I will be prepared to start clinicals hot and continue that and do well on step 2, clinical knowledge and clinical skills, which is what is important for all you prospective students applying now. All right, so now I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the step. So the step right now is the basic science test that we need to pass and do well on, more so for me. But one thing that I thought, and I was really blown away by this, is that I know that professors here will take the step 1 and the step 2, and they will take information that they see is fit as high yield from these 2 steps, and they will come back and they will actually revamp their lecture notes. I remember mid-semester, last semester in my term 2, we were learning a lecture, and literally the next day we got the professor say, "Hey guys, like, I know we focused a little bit about this in that one lecture we learned yesterday, but we actually got some new information, and there is actually a new focus on this certain select data. So try, when you're reviewing that lecture, do not neglect this information." And that type of learning, that consistent refreshing of the knowledge base here at Saba, it's another thing that's unique here. I don't see the professors going to those lengths to get us students where we need to be. All right, so that pretty much sums up everything I have to say. If you guys have any questions, you can ask them in the Facebook comment section. But other than that, step 1, pass fail is a scary thought. Not really, Thomas. Not really, Thomas. Not at all, actually. If pass fail, you only need a score of like a 194, and as IMGs, we already are striving to get higher. And the exit here at Saba, you do need to get a score around that, anyways. So when you pass the exit here, you already have hit that margin. So it's really not a scary thought at all, Thomas. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. All right. So if you guys have any other questions, then you can definitely hit up some of the Saba administration or go to the Saba website. But other than that, I think that concludes my talk, and look forward to look forward to seeing you guys apply and maybe see you there next term. All right, guys, have a good day.